Hey everyone, sorry I was muted. So I'm back online with the Ask Marlon show. Just want to say thank you for all the support over the last, a couple of shows, and we are hoping to be back. Bringing guests and asking questions and answers for you. So this show was created. As a part of giving the gift of giving to people back with my experience, my team's experience, and everyone that I know of, who like to share. So it's about giving you real answers to questions that you have, or experiences that you want to get something out of, and utilize it in your own business or in your personal journey. So yeah, so my team and at BizTech Global, and anyone around me would be joining and sharing their knowledge and experience through this program. So thank you again. So first of all, if you joining from somewhere around the world, please introduce yourself on a comment, and let us know where you're joining from. And most of all, if you have any questions that myself or my guest today could answer, please feel free to message and comment there so we can pick them up. I think there are a couple of pre questions that come through before anyway, after we put the link. So you can send those questions to askmarlon at biztechglobal.com. You got the email address going through the screen there. Now, if I can't answer them today, or if I can't get some answers, if it comes through email, definitely we will try and either bring that up next week or the next time, or maybe send you a message, or tag you and send you a message on LinkedIn or one of the social media. So thank you so much. So today I just want to introduce you to our special guest, my real close buddy. We call ourselves brothers. Brother from another mom, if you want to say it that way. Micael, who's I've been working with for a little while.
I am.
We got online. So welcome, Micael. And Michael's, is a jack of and master of all trades, I would say. I would definitely can give that, um, title to him. So let me just shut down some of these windows. I'll make a couple of noises while you're doing this. And Michael is also currently, semi-retired, and he's, doing executive consulting and board. What do you call board
Board
member
advisory work. Yeah.
relationship things, so I'll let Michael anyway explain a couple of things. So Michael, without holding you on, thank you for joining, and welcome to the show. This will be, I guess, one of many ones, I'm sure, as we go forward. So yeah, thanks for
Thank you,
joining.
Marlon. A pleasure to be here. And obviously, yeah, our relationship goes back quite a while, and it's a very special friendship that we've got, and almost like brothers. That's the way we treat each other. So it's great to be here for the afternoon, Friday afternoon, as we wind down the week. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to have a chat. Probably just a call out for all those people who are suffering with flooding around the place at the moment and other disasters. There's just so many things going on in the world. I feel for those people at any point of the day. And, we've got to think about how special and how lucky we are to be able to join into anything in an event socially and enjoy that and share, because there's so many people around the world having a hard time.
Absolutely. And I think, over here it's been raining nonstop in Sydney for a couple of days now. A lot of people flooding, and, so yeah, everyone to be safe, and hopefully having a good Friday afternoon, after a long week. So over here, obviously, in Sydney, the school holidays are starting. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of kiddos and people taking it a break. So welcome everyone. So there are a couple of people saying hello here from to us. Tisto from where are you from Botswana? So yeah, that's really fantastic to have you. Like, Sandamini, Nada,
Nelson,
Halima,
hello.
Nelson, Sheka. So, and thank you. There are a couple of them are our team members, Johan from Sri Lanka. So today I have a new crew. My team is Netmi and Taru, who's actually helping me, produce and run the show. So thank you very much, guys, for putting all that together, and we'll hopefully have much more coverage and bring more guests and maybe multiple people even to discuss certain things. So while people joining and warming up to the live stream, let's Michael, how about you give us a little bit about your journey, and what you've done, and your yeah. I normally say to everyone that Michael's the most experienced in life and business person that I know so far. I think so that title definitely
Mm,
uh, throughout the years. So yeah, give us a little bit of maybe a couple of minute rundown. I
yeah,
know
okay. While we're
summarize that
waiting,
easily. Yeah, yeah.
while we're waiting for a few questions, sounds like a good idea. So, for me, I'm Brisbane-based at the moment in Queensland. I grew up in North Queensland and spent a lot of time in Western Queensland. I've spent a lot of time travelling as well, interstate, and through a career that spans 4.5 decades, basically. So I'm definitely in that semi-retirement mode at the moment, and spending most of my time about giving back to with some of the lessons I've learned. And I've learned a lot of lessons. That's probably the biggest thing over all the years. And I've been very privileged basically to work from the shop floor to the top floor. That's the picture I have from a point of view that I was a fitter and turner when I first started. Before that, I was working in a shop selling clothes. So over the years, I've had many roles that have gone from heavy industry, mining and metalliferous, into power station environments where I was operating power plants, boilers, turbines, and other sorts of plants. Found my way into HR, workplace health and safety, learning and development, and then IT. So, and had yet another career in IT, which has spanned the last 25 years pretty much of my career, and started from the bottom yet again. And I've been very fortunate through many opportunities to take them, grab them, run with them, and get a lot of learnings and lessons out of going through those different roles and projects, some pretty major ones over periods of time, particularly within government. So
That's fantastic, Michael. And I think it's Michael could be here for a couple of hours telling a lot of the stories and things
I've
that he
got
has.
lots of stories.
Yeah, so definitely you need to connect with Michael and say hello to him on if you're on one of the social media platforms. He's on them, and reach out and message him if you wish to. So Michael, I think how's semi-retirement? What do you do? Can you give us a little bit of to the audience to know what you're
Mm.
doing now and how that's going? And yeah,
So
and I
it's
think you
fluctuating
touched
up
on
and
your
down.
hobbies also. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
So it's fluctuating up and down from going back in and helping businesses from part-time work that I'm doing with like yourselves with BizTech Global on a part-time basis, just helping out with, at that senior level with Johan and Marlon and Anu. Then there's my previous company that I worked in, going back into the fire a couple of times to help out pull through some issues that they had and help them to turn things around when they needed them. I've been doing a fair bit of board study as well, just prepping myself up for that next aspect of my life. Also working with other CEOs to help them who are in startup mode or in the mode of where they're just starting to grow. And probably the key thing around that is what are the governance pieces they need to put in? What's the security coverages they need to have for a business that starts to grow, particularly when they start reaching out globally. So just because you're small doesn't mean you can't work on the world stage, because we've got such an open country, an open world now where the economics are such that you can work in any place at any time from anywhere. And it's an amazing ability to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And I think I think the global footprint of and not saying the word pandemic, but I think through that whole episode of what things happen, we've managed to I think go through it really well because the technology allowed us to, our businesses and our lives to be supported, be connected, work. Although we couldn't have a lot of human interaction, especially going overseas and stuff like that, it's helped us out. So I think that's great. So Michael, I know you. I want to also share a couple of the people your hobbies. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit about that. Obviously, I know this, so yeah, give us a bit of a rundown.
A few of my hobbies. If you look behind my wall, you'll see it's full of music. So that's one of my hobbies. I've been playing music, guitars on and off over the years, probably since I was about 13, 14, I think. So obviously in my young days I played in bands, but over the years it's just really been the love for myself to enjoy. It's a very good stress reliever, very good for taking you out to a whole new place. It's an excellent way to pass some time and to regenerate yourself as well. My other passions are snow skiing that I learned in my mid-40s, and I've been very fortunate to have skied in a number of continents now over the last decade or so. It's been 3 years since I skied because of the pandemic, and I've just booked myself a trip to go to New Zealand later in this year, so I'm certainly going to be keen to go for that. And riding motorbikes. I've been riding motorbikes since I was about 16 as well. So I've had years where I've had some pretty big motorbikes. I've got a reasonable size one now as well. Again, that's another way that just helps your brain switch off a bit when you're working a lot of hours. So.
Yeah, feeling the wind and the road, I think, so that's one of my passions too, but I don't have motorbikes. Get semi-retirement.
It doesn't come without its risks, as I well know.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think I think that's like one of the things I want to touch on a bit later as we go. The resilience and the practicality of life, how we have to go through. So let's maybe get on to some of the questions. So if anyone who's so there are a couple of people who said hello to us. Manoj from UK. Sasanka is Sasanka, hey man, how are you doing? Long time. Halima's from Uzbekistan. So thank you for joining in, and if you have any questions regarding technology innovation or strategic things about business, or how you want to we can shoot them here. So let's just see what questions have come through. Maybe Haru, do you want to bring up one of the questions on the screen? So Michael, you go read that.
Yeah, look, actually at the moment I am seeing a lot of growth in a lot of businesses. So to be honest, particularly in the technology-driven industry, there is a huge amount of growth in that space, and it's being driven by the fact that people want to switch the work they're doing, switch over from old legacy systems to adopt the more capabilities of cloud-based software, hardware, and all those capabilities for themselves to be able to take their business to a new level. So I'm certainly seeing a lot of growth in that space. I'm also seeing a lot of growth in other areas across the world as well. There's a lot of growth in business from a point of view of construction. In particular, you're seeing a lot of new developments going around the place. If you look at somewhere where I live in Brisbane, there are cranes in the sky constantly, and have been for the last 2 or 3 years, despite the pandemic. There's been a massive growth in residential living, a lot of denser living. But the other side of that is what I'm seeing is a good thing out in the flip side of the people who in the pandemic have realised that they can live and work somewhere else besides the city to have a great role. And so you're also getting this group of people who are actually moving more out into rural and country areas because they can still work but obtain a much different type of lifestyle. And I lived and worked out in northwest Queensland in a place called Mount Isa for 13.5 years, and it's a completely different type of living to city, without a doubt. So climate-wise, as well as the people that you mix with every day and the way they approach life. It's a very tough environment, but it's also very rewarding, and it's a great place to bring up kids as well.
Yeah, I think
So you
that's
want to add to that?
yeah. So I think in the current conditions, I think it's two sides. It's like I don't know, like if you flip a coin, there's two sides to it, right? So um, for businesses, just to directly answer that question is, if you are in a situation that your like services or what you do is impacted, like, because people say very easily, they'll say, oh, you need to pivot. What I mean? What does that mean? So what it means is that you need to find a way to that product or service to somehow, let's say that you're providing cleaning services for hospitality. Hospitality went down, but hospitals went up. So if you change to cleaning services for hospitals, then you had more work. So pivot doesn't mean that go do something different. It means that find the work, or find a way to find that stream. So when one stream dried up, another one got full. It's about that, right? So in what I see in businesses in technology and stuff, is that technology and marketing and online system and social media has allowed us to do that.
Correct.
So you have to take away the uncertainty part, understand that it's there, but somehow work with someone, or work with people who can help you to get through that, but prepare. So I think a lot of the businesses, including BizTech Global, that we operate, have grown. We've grown almost 150%, I think, in the throughout the pandemic. So that's basically due to the strategies and thinking that we have put in place and keep working on them. So there's a lot more questions coming through.
Probably just the last one on that particular one, if you're going to protect yourself, is while you're in that stage, is to make sure you're putting in the right governance and right processes. Understand your processes, document your processes, make sure your staff know those processes, and get some good governance, because when you start to grow, it puts a lot of stress on the business, and you've got to be able to adjust, but still keep the controls in place that are needed for good due diligence and the way you actually perform your roles.
Thank you, Michael. I mean, I couldn't say it any better. So your experience in that area anyway. So we got this one from Halima. I think, where can I get source of educational projects? Till now, I know only this one fundraiser by
So are we talking about educational projects within educational learning? Halima, have we got, what else are we looking at?
Yes, I think, if you just ask, we're talking about fundraising for the projects itself. I think it's about creating that business case and the, having not the, is it a business case? It is, right? So when you're going for funding, you have to create a like a case that you want to either you're tackling certain thing. For example, if there's a direct fundraising you're trying to do for a project as a company, there's a different way of going about it. But if you're looking at getting some charitable funds or some like a grant, then there's a different way to deal with that. So Halima, I think if you can give a bit more information, we can try and tackle that. But if it's you're saying you want to establish a youth learning and living center, I would say you have to you can do a GoFundMe, but I would say there's a lot of people, like, for example, if you're in Australia, there's some families, some bigger charities, or even like there may be someone like Bill Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, that'll be offering, a certain area. So you have to find which who's providing them, and create a really good, powerful story and a pack that you can share with them. That the story is very compelling and what you want to do. And you have more things like, if you want to build a house, you want to get some budgets and costs for that stuff. So the more detailed you dream of that, creating that venture, and then the more believable it is that the person who's reading it or seeing it, and you can present it, then it'll eventuate. That will be my advice.
Yeah, also, as I said, as you leaned to there before, Marlon, capabilities from Microsoft who spend an enormous amount of money in educational projects around the globe, basically, and have actually seed funding at times where they'll help support based on the technology. So, and they're not the only ones. There's a number of other major suppliers around the world who do the same.
Yeah. So Halima, yeah, we'll try and
We'll
I
do
think
some more
communicate
research for
through LinkedIn.
you and
Yeah.
come back to you. Yeah.
Reach out through LinkedIn. Yeah, just have a chat to you anyway on that through messaging, and we'll try and help you out as much as we can. So um, I think there's one more there. So another, what is your recommendation for a company or individual to keep on top of technology and innovation? Michael, you take that one.
That is a tough question. It is changing so quickly. I found for myself it was I had to be constantly having sources of feeds of information to understand what's the new technologies that are coming through. What does it mean for the business? What does it mean for myself? What does it mean for your community? And how can it be applied in the best way? There's a big difference between the sales hype you're given and the practicality and unusability of any product. So it's very key about when you look at keeping yourself up to speed with those things, you've got to get the right information, and you need to look at multiple sources around that information. And if somebody is offering to sell something of a particular product, go to the actual source of the company that produces that product and have they got the facts and information that makes sense to you to how you can apply it. There is so many between Google, Microsoft, Amazon, you name it, and so many other great technology companies around the world that produce technology and that are very innovative. But for you personally, it's constant reading, and that's the only way you can really keep up to speed with it. And the
Yeah.
more information you've got, the better you are. But you've got to always be asking, what is that technology going to do for me or for my business? Because you could have lots and lots of technologies that don't really provide you a value add. So
Absolutely. I think I have my rule is to simplify the technology that
correct.
you need to use. And if it comes in a pack, like have I don't know, let's say let's take the example of marketing platforms. They got like you can
Mm,
use 10 different platforms. I'll meet someone, have a chat, and they're like using like MailChimp, and they're using like all the different channels. And so they basically try and simplify that. If you can use one platform, one cost, and one set of people helping you, then you and other thing, Michael, I want to say is that if you get the correct platform that actually keeps on the leading edge, not on the bleeding edge, I would say,
correct.
that will upgrade their systems, then you naturally get the next level of innovation. So you don't have to go learn
Yeah.
everything that you don't need to learn. Because
Yeah.
if you're like a coach, for example, and your craft is coaching humans, and their emotions or their business or whatever it is, you don't need to be an IT expert. You don't need to be a
No.
marketing funnel and sales navigator or LinkedIn or Facebook expert. You need to get someone who can actually drive you those things and for you, and then you just hopefully grow and help them grow so that you can pay them and work with them. So I think one of the things we do, I guess, is that to take away the
Mm,
pay from the technology and thing. And Michael, we do that for larger organizations also from consulting point of view. Yes,
correct.
I think great way to go about it, because if you have time to learn everything, it'd be good, but we
But we
don't
don't
really.
have time. So it's about what's applicable and what's the best bang for buck that you can get.
Absolutely. So Halima, I think yeah, you definitely, she was asking whether you could PM us. Yeah, definitely PM us, and we'll try and help you with that. Yeah, I think there's another one there. Taro, do you want to bring that one up?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. So I'll read that. What part of consulting work do you enjoy the most? Can you give some examples? Yeah.
For me, it's working with the C-suite and the boards who know what they know and may not know everything they know, but they're not sensing that current IT systems and supports are working to their optimum. And a lot of the times it's very simply because they don't have the right processes in place, and they keep putting technology as the answer when really it's people and the processes and the key things, and then the technology. So I love working across that suite, but I also love working down, because I've had the opportunity to work at every form of level in in a number of organisations. I love looking at the coalface and talking to the people that actually are doing the job. And some years ago, I was working for a large insurer, and I was reviewing all of their systems and particularly their call centres. And I actually went and sat with the call centre staff and just saw what they did day in, day out, and then went and sat in the lunchroom with them and talked about what they talked about, and and understood what they thought about their customers. And these were people who were frustrated by not having the right tools they needed. So they loved their customers. They loved interfacing with their customers. They just wished they could bring the information together better. So, there's all different forms and different levels in the business. But yeah, I certainly have spent a lot of time in the last several years, in particular, working at that higher level of the business. And that's not something to be scared of. People are people, no matter where you go. It doesn't matter what level they work at. They've all got their own hopes, dreams, and stresses within every single day.
Yeah, and I think thanks, Michael. So I think because I know like stuff that you do, I'll give you a couple of examples on that because you asked that question. So let's say that you, Michael, or some myself went into a organization that they have some issues. Typically, the issue that they think that they have is not the issue. The issue is something underlying. Either it's a communication thing or whatever. Obviously the technology and the systems we'll have some deficiencies or some improvements you can do. There's always something new or something that works better. So having an external view, like someone like Michael, who has worked with hundreds of companies and hundreds of different problems, straight away it strikes a chord, and it takes away the guesswork and the what do you think, you get 3-4 people, because someone like Michael can find out the 3 different solutions without having to go to 3 different people. So that's a true sense of consultancy. Should be fully agnostic to technologies and any individuals, and give them the best solution for that particular customer. So I think Michael does a great job in there, and I witnessed that myself. So so I can answer that question because of that. So thank you.
Key focus areas is actually asking the question, so of the company, do they understand what's the business goal and the business problem they're trying to resolve? Because quite often you've got to ask multiple people and you'll get multiple answers, and then say, right, now let's bring this together to understand what are the themes we see and what are the themes we're hearing. And, is it aligned with the business strategy? Is it time to pivot the business and look at something else? There's a whole host of those sort of things. So, yeah.
Yes, I think just to finalize that question before we go to the next one, we got one from Ashika here. The thinking, so organization in that level need to be open to thinking and be courageous to admit that they don't know. And I think that's when you can get someone to come in and really you're open to change and open to learning those things. So because I think if a company is really immersed in their delivery and service and product, they should not know the other things, because they should be master at what they do, and
That's right.
other things, if they try to learn everything, you can't be master of, like a grandmaster. If you take the 10,000 hour rule, you need multiple of 10,000 hours to master everything, so you don't have enough time in your lifetime to do that, so only certain number of people have managed to do that. So Ashika has got a question here. What is your advice to someone starting new, choosing their career in technology related companies? Michael, what would you tell yourself, your maybe 21-year-old self?
That's an interesting one. I mean, I had to flip to IT partway through my career because businesses were being sold and there were different opportunities. I was already playing with it anyway, but you have to be prepared to do the hard yards. You have to be prepared to do a lot of study, but nothing beats learning on the job. So, and it's all about service, in my view. So, one of the great places to start is actually at the bottom as a service desk or as a person who's working around interfacing with the clients, the staff who are having problems with using their technology, because that's where you learn two lots of skills. One, you learn to understand how to think about the problem from their point of view, not just from a technology point of view, that you'll think about different solutions to come that could help in that situation. And it'll make you go back and research your technology more to understand it better, so how you can apply it coming forward. But the most important thing is that you've interfaced with somebody, you've learned something from somebody who's trying to deal with the technology, and therefore you've learned something else, about your own self and how you're going to then apply that to the next person you're going to come along and help. It's very hard to just jump up the tree. There's a lot of great courses that people can do without having to go to university. I never went to university. I learned a lot of mine along the road. I've gone and done a lot of it, study over the years, and I've got a lot of qualifications, but I didn't actually go to university to start with. I learned.
You're in University of Hard Knocks, Micael.
Yeah. I mean, it's about learning with your hands, being hands-on and applying the technology. And I was lucky that in the era that when IT was really kicking up, you did everything. So now it's so big and so complex, you have to tend to specialize. But my advice to anybody in a career technology is there are so many different functions and so many different aspects. Get a bit of an understanding of a number of them, because they're so different, from a developer to an Azure expert to an AWS expert. There's just so many different levels to networking, cybersecurity, etc. You can't be a jack of everything anymore, but you still need to have an understanding how it all comes together, because at the end of the day, it's a service. That's it.
I think just to add to that, I think I would say to quickly answer that question is that it definitely, our kiddo is going to, so I want people to do their university and study and stuff. It doesn't mean that it's not, so I am the same. I didn't go to any university. But you need to somehow get hands-on practical experience. That's what Micael was saying. So I think if you can get practical experience through either you going through university or you work on even like yourself, you do some freelancing work, whatever it is, you have to get how that end product works. You need to understand at least how that the client. So I think practical experience need to interact with clients. Hopefully that way exactly what you're doing, how it's received. So that's how I learned everything, is that spend time understanding and appreciating what I did, how the clients they liked or not. Obviously some people may not be very happy with the way they do things. That doesn't mean that you need to apply that to yourself. You need to find your own baseline and work through that. So I think thank you, Micael. I think that was good. We got another one here. You want to read that, Micael?
Yeah, in the tech world, how much do you think artificial intelligence and its learning will play a part in the next few years? I'd love to hear your thoughts. It already is. It's not the future, it's already here. So when you talk about AI, and then that whole evolving of that space in particular with the artificial intelligence and taking it up through the stack, if you like, of the way it's been evolving, it is already here. And it is being used every single day of the week in so many different places. You just get the basic bots that you see, chat box and those sort of things. They're everywhere now, right? Companies are using a lot of analytical tools sitting in the background constantly with the data. The thing that drives the AI, ML, etc., all that machine learning is really the data. The data now drives pretty much all of that. So, and there is so much in data, but it's like anything. I can be crass and say crap data in gives you crap data out, without having the integrity and cleansing and making sure it's fit for purpose. So there's a whole range. I've worked a lot in that space around data space and the security that goes around with that. But yeah, it's here now. It is just going to continue to evolve. And what you'll see is, and I'm already seeing it, you see the advances in things like with goggles, glasses for teaching, for learning, for remote support. Those things are just all based on that back-end technology, and it is just an amazing world that we're going into, and it will build and bring a whole range of new jobs. It will replace a whole lot of other jobs, but that's okay. That's what we went through at the Industrial Revolution 150 years ago, pretty much, and so you expect that, right? But it's going to be a big part of the business, and already is. And have a look at cars. All the new electric cars, they are more computer, in some sense, than they are car, and and they have software updates on a constant basis. So
yeah, I think thanks, Michael, and I'll just add a little bit to that. So I think the last, or I guess normally the first people who adopt technology or invent technology is the military. Usually, it comes from military, and then it rolls into big tech, government, stuff like that. So I think the artificial intelligence and machine learning stuff was used by big tech for their marketing, for their, so perimeter technologies, like, your security firewalls. Like today, I think Tesla was announcing they're now removing those spam messages using, it's like for a month, there was like 100 million text messages, something that's coming up as scams and spam, and they use machine learning algorithms to eliminate them. So it's currently news on those, but I think, as Michael said, it's going to be in the next couple of years a roll into run-of-the-mill stuff, like, as you said, cars, or when you go to the like shopping centers and things like that, whatever, they're already doing that, but I think the mainstream people will start using it. And another thing is that it will be available for like smaller companies and as a service with the softwares to adopt it. So at the moment, it's not like a commodity as such, as a service. But I think as we go forward, you'll be you don't need to program it. You just need to tick the button and say, I want to apply, AI to this product, and eventually it'll be a default. So like anything. So yeah, we got a couple of more. So Jay, France, you let us know where you're joining from. Good morning. It's afternoon for us here. So hopefully doing well. If you have any questions, please share that with us. I think Taru, there's one more here from Shanika. If you have to give one key message, Michael, what would be to industry and business leaders? I don't know, from maybe a technology and adoption and awareness point of view.
Actually, and excuse me, I've now got a siren going off in the background. Somebody's car, I think, has been jacked. The one key message for me, and it's the same thing that came over, it doesn't matter what business you're in, it doesn't matter what goals you're trying to achieve, or industry, or even technology, it's the people. People make businesses. And one of the key things I've seen over time is, as businesses grow, the people who have been instrumental in making that grow are not just the leaders. Leadership comes at multiple levels and just doesn't come from a title. So it's the people aspect that's the one big one. Do not ever treat your staff poorly. Don't treat your customers poorly. It's all about giving service and looking after each other and making sure that, to achieve an end goal in a business, to grow, you've got to be connected with your people. And that's number one. And that means both your staff and your clients. It's simple.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, definitely. And more, I think that is almost, need to be a, the message. It's almost need to be like a given to, I think, look after your people and individuals. Otherwise, you won't have especially with now, for example, before working from home was a perk. When you went for an interview, you ask a question, and sometimes they said, no, we don't have that. So now if you don't accommodate that, or there is not a like you could work 4 days, or you don't need to come to the office at all, or we don't have office, you won't have people working. So it's about thinking about how your team members, how the people make your business, because a business is a bunch of people doing some services and giving some value to someone else that then in turn pay you and pay their salaries. And so it's a value transfer. That's what I call a business. So you have to understand that without the capabilities and the connections and the I call people hearts. So at BizTech we have hearts. So all the hearts help other hearts do their things. So that's how we make sure that everyone understands that the value of a heart, and really treating them and having them close to you is very important. So that's my take on it. So Michael, thank you so much.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably add one other thing. If outside of the people piece, then it's making sure you've got good governance, and cybersecurity is such a large threat to every single business and every single person. I've spent a lot of time in the cyberspace and had to help out a number of clients who have been hit with ransomware, and their whole business is totally gone, shut down. So that's a highly stressful piece, and it's it's a growing business in its own right. So outside of the people aspect, it's cyber risk and governance to make sure you got the right things in your business to be prepared for those events.
Absolutely, because if you're not prepared for the, what I say is be expected. Expect the unexpected, and then you won't be surprised. So preparedness, having your disaster recovery, systems, or that make sure at least you can come back on if you go out. Those things are very important. So as a business, if you need the support, get in touch with us, and we'll give you a hand and have a chat to you. Taro, do you have any other questions? Anyone who has anything to run past Michael or myself? Now is the chance. And until next time, otherwise. So Michael, while you're doing that, I'll ask a couple of questions. So do you have a favorite book or a script?
That's a hard one. I'm currently rereading the whole suite of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is an extremely clever book from a fictional point of view. I've read a lot of material over the years of both fiction and non-fiction, and certainly a lot of stuff around spiritual approaches to the way you actually live and breathe your life. Obviously, and involved with Marlon and a group of other people at the Marlon around Being the Change, which is about that holistic approach to business. It's not just the tech, not just the people, it's your health and well-being that goes with that. And for me, it's like, what are we doing to give back to our communities and our environment, and particularly looking after our planet, because it's only one of them, and it's gone. There is no more. So, it's those sort of things that, but, there's so many books I've read over so many years. One of the things I use an electronic, I like physical books, but I can have hundreds of books sitting on an electronic device, and when I'm traveling in particular, that's I just spend time reading. So.
Yeah, no,
but I can't give you a particular favorite, because there's just so many. So many.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Abhinay has got a question here for us. So, could I get advice about how to measure progress on new ideas, and how to actually build, innovate out of the box ideas?
That's a good question.
It's a very, very deep question.
There are actually, there's a few things that there are actually some products that actually help in this process, that actually just give you a construct to work around, but and doesn't stop innovation. It actually allows what you think about thinking out of the box. The biggest thing about thinking out of the box for me is, is being able to take 2 steps back to have a look at something from a totally different direction. And it's not easy to do. And when you're in a business and you're working in the business all the time, getting that time, and you'll see that with, executives and those things, they'll actually take people out of the business to be able to think about things from the future, where we're going, how we're going to get there. And you've got to have a blank canvas at times, just say, throw anything. So anything just to throw up on a board. And Marlon's a very visual person, so he'll mind map you, something in particular, because what it does is it just thinks, well, what if we went this way? What if we went that way? So the thing about doing that is putting yourself in the right mindset and putting yourself in the right environment, and have different people with totally different thinking in that, to help you with that. And so those ideas, because you see so many businesses, a business either continues to grow, it either pivots and innovates to go in another direction, or it slowly dies off, right? That's what happens, right? So
it's a tricky, deep question, Abhinay. So I think so I think the way that I see that, as Micael said, is that if we I use mind maps because that's how our brain, it has neural pathways and it actually follows those things. So if you actually do it that way, it's very natural. But as Micael again said, an out of a box idea has to be, I would say, I don't know, I call it like, maybe I give you a bit of story. So the best person who actually did this and has been documented, over many, many years is Nikola Tesla. So if you really want to learn about this mechanism that we can invoke as humans, you need to read his autobiography, or not autobiography, his biography. He didn't write it, I think. And he used to visualize his inventions, and he used to visualize them for like years sometimes. So for example, the dynamo, he ran it overspeed, he ran it underspeed, he ran it with a wrong bearing on it, he ran it with too much load. So he did all these things. When he finally invented it, he had already perfected the thing in his mind. So this is like, what a lot of the I would say serial business tycoons would do. They'll go for a long weekend or take a couple of weeks, the people that they want, they'll sit and brainstorm it, what I mean? So you can do that in a smaller scale. You find a couple of people in college, maybe if you're in college, you find the brightest guys, sit them down, tell the idea, and run with it. So I think hopefully you get the picture. I think it's about really testing what you're trying to do without testing, if you know what I mean. So if you can do that, if you can simulate it, then you have a much better chance of it coming out as a product that you want to, or a service that you want to offer. So yeah, hopefully that
but
helps.
it's part of your question was, you do need to put measures in place when you go to try and do something. You've got to understand, is it working or not working? How can it be refined? I went through a process years ago. It was developed by a company called DuPont, and it was all about process and improvement. And there was a collection of us working in power station environments, and we were saving hundreds of thousands of dollars to the business because we were doing that. We were taking a part of a process and we were re-looking at it from different ways, re-refining it, and then implementing. But we measured everything we did to make sure we could have a baseline where we started, and then we did what we call a continuous improvement piece. It would make a saving or an improvement that we could actually measure.
Very good. So Micael, thank you so much. We sort of coming to the end of, I guess, the time. I'm sure we could, so we'll maybe come back again, Micael, and I'm sure we'll have more questions as we go. Do this. I think you also gave me an idea with being the change team. I reckon we should do a live with all of them in there.
It's an idea, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good one. So Michael, I just want to ask how people can reach you if they want to, and what sort of board roles you're looking for. So while you're here, I think
Yeah.
I would like to maybe put a message out there to anyone who's listening or watching, or you have friends or someone who gonna give them a bit
Yeah.
of a.
I mean, yeah, LinkedIn is obviously the key mechanism we use from a social media point of view for connectivity. I'm connected with lots and lots of people from that point of view. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching with people as well at different times. From a board perspective, I got asked this question again the other day as well, and it's I'm not targeted at any specific industry or type of business. It's more really that medium-sized business, I guess, that's growing, that has a reason, but is giving a good service to the community and their customers, right? It's about, I want to be involved with businesses that are giving back at all levels, back into their staff, their clients, the environment, that whole collective basically, and have got a nice balance, and who are looking for somebody to help guide them in that process going forward, and also looking at them from making sure they're maintaining their risk and compliance as well, and their cyber risks, but strategizing and being able to think differently and being able to think, well, can we pivot the business from different mechanisms and different opportunities to take it in different directions? So, yeah. So I'm open to any at the moment. It's just and it's really about, do I value the people who are on that board? Do I value what the business is providing to its clients and to the community on the whole? I'm at that stage in my life. It's more about giving back, than anything else. So yeah.
Thank you, Michael. So that's great. And we'll tag Michael on this post. So, and I think there's one more quick question that's come through with Halima. Maybe we'll get to that one in last time. There are issues of yeah. So this is a bit of a deep subject, I guess. Yeah. Any thoughts, Michael?
I think I need to have a think about that one rather than just throwing it off the cuff.
Yeah.
Because
I think we'll respond to you directly on the message on that one. Okay.
Yeah, I think
So
we will.
so we're running out of time. So thank you again, everyone, for and thank you, Michael, for joining us and imparting your wisdom and knowledge. So until next time, yeah, hopefully see you soon in person, and talk to you in a couple of days. So thank you, Michael.
Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful weekend, and keep your families close. Stay safe.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So I think we'll go to the next stage of our show. Anyway, we're almost coming to the end. I just want to give you a couple of shout outs. So first of all, again, Michael, thank you so much for joining us and being there, and all of you guys are participating. So I'm going to bring up basically this is Naomi. Naomi is graphics and a design expert. She does design and I guess concepts and stuff like that. She lives in Melbourne, and she's my other friend Simon's partner. She's fantastic in what she does, amazing. So please connect with her, and so I want to let her know. Say thank you very much for all the work you do. And let me bring up my next shout out person. So while it's coming up, yeah. So Simon is my buddy. Again, I met him a little while back, and Simon's an amazing master, business coach and mentor. So he looks after many businesses and helps them, grow to and get the outcome so that they looking for. So Simon he also lives in Melbourne, and please connect with them, and I'll put their I'll tag them on these on the live stream comments, so you can go look and connect with them and say hello. Thank you very much. Let me just take that out. Yeah, so I think that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions regarding anything that we talked about today or any new ones, please send it to askmarlon at biztechglobal.com. And if you're watching this and if you have any questions, obviously if you put a hashtag replay on it and then the question, so that we know it's a you did it on the on the replay, so that we can come back and maybe answer them. If you have any other questions, you can direct DM myself, Michael, if you want any help or support on anything. So that's it for the time being. Looking forward to having this live show. If it's not every week, it'll be every other week. So watch out for the notification. And so I think what I wanted to say is parting quote to you guys today is I think the same one normally I share. So is that if you want to, it's a Mahatma Gandhi quote. So being the change that you want to see in the world. If you want to, see change, you have to be that. You have to inspire. You need to, have a lot of grace and gratitude how we go about it. So thank you very much, everyone, and hope you have a fantastic weekend. And out from here, Sydney. Bye for now.